Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design. I'm your host, Nicole Lano. I am so happy to be here with you. I am so excited. I was coming up with ideas for today's episode, and this is just something that is really on my mind. It always is because, what we're calling today's episode, if you are listening to it, you already know what it's called. It's called the Sales Everyday Formula. And this was something that I was working for so long. I have this dream scenario of oh, what would happen? What would life be like if I were waking up to Stripe notifications every morning? What would life be like if I were just playing with my kid or snuggling my dog, and then I just have my phone going off and Stripe notifications and I didn't have to do anything? That's if I rewind a few years ago, that was the dream scenario that I was working toward. Was, how do I get out of this trap of the daily grind of social media, of creating content every single day and wondering if today will be the day that somebody buys from it, or will it get engagement, or is this one going to disappear right after I post it because, not enough people liked it within the first hour that it was posted? Just all of these things. I hated being so dependent on the algorithm, and I hated being so tied to sales, being tied to my momentary activity. That if I wasn't doing something today, I probably wasn't going to make money today, not new money anyway. Recurring revenue is something that saves us from a little bit of that for sure. But then, we still need to bring in new revenue. I don't want just recurring revenue. That I don't feel I look at my business and I don't feel like it's very healthy. If I'm only getting recurring revenue and I don't have any new revenue coming in, I'm looking at that and saying something needs to change. I need to sell some human design readings. I need to put something out there. I need to shift something. So maybe it does require some in the moment action from me. But we're at a point where we don't have that problem anymore in my business, but I remember when I did. And everything that I've built now has been in response to me asking those questions of how do I solve for this? How do I make that happen? I wonder how that could be possible. I wonder if that could be true. Ooh, I like that scenario better. How could I make that true? So I actually I said this recently and someone went and checked me on it. And, you can go and do that yourself if you want. But in June, I think I only posted twice on social media. And then in July, I only posted one time. And both of those months, we made over $30,000 in my business. And that's recurring and new, but we had both. and that, that was so without the social media hamster wheel. And to me, that was success. I was like, wow, I was able to actually relax and do things with my family this summer and take a step back and still show up for my clients, of course. I'm still showing up for my business, but I didn't have to, the content thing was just not really what I was feeling at the time. And I kept the show going, but we even ran some rerun episodes over the summer as well, just a couple to give me a break. And it felt really good. It felt really spacious. And I could breathe. And then, you know what? It made me excited about writing content and doing things and coming back to this show after. So, but most entrepreneurs are in this daily hustle trap. They are, always feeling like they need to create something new. They always need to create something brand new, which that's more of a mindset thing. But every day showing up on Instagram, and if you don't, you think, oh my God, the sky is falling. I wonder if I'm going to make any money today, tomorrow, or for this month, And personally, what I don't love about social media is the short lifespan that the content has. And I'm going to kind of talk to you about in this episode how we managed to start bringing in, sales every day, how we have Stripe notifications going off all the time, and how we got our content to have legs. How do we have this sales machine running even when we're not? And how do we get the content that we write, that we spend so much time on, that we put so much thought into, that we put our energy into? How do we give it the best chance to have people seeing it later and not just like the day you put it out there and then it dies and goes in a graveyard? We don't want that. So that's what I'm really going to cover in this episode. If you're listening to this and you are interested in this topic even a little bit, please, you need to come to the Authority Accelerator Masterclass. It is happening right now. If you are listening to this the day that this episode dropped, we are in the middle of it, but there is time for you to catch up. If you register by DMing me the word masterclass on Instagram, I'm at Nicole Lano Official, or going to nicolelano.com/masterclass on the web. You can register there. We'll send you an email right away with the replay link, and then you will get emails reminding you of when the sessions are so you could join us live for any of the remaining ones. If you get this at all before September 24th, when the replays come down and we close up shop for the workshop, then please register, because we go into depth about this. I'm going to touch on these topics here, but I'm really going to go into depth about how we build out a system like this in the masterclass. So you're going to want to come, and it's free and it's awesome. It is like my most loved thing outside of this podcast. People really, really love that masterclass. They're never sorry that they signed up. Okay. So we'll go into depth there, but today we're going to dive into just kind of what's really happening and how do we build a business that does make money while we sleep? How do we do that? Well, first of all, we have to break that dependency on social media. We have to have something else. So if you look at my business and the way that I've built it, I didn't abandon social media. Like, I'm on there. We're having a masterclass. So I've been on there quite a lot lately. But like I said, I took the summer almost all off from posting. And I don't like feeling obligated to be on there. And I don't want to do that. So I didn't build my business that way. So while I didn't throw social media out, my business isn't social media dependent. It adds gas to the car, it adds fuel, but it is not what it runs on all the time. And this is the difference between so that is what I call like these are quick burn strategies, like social media. It's going to go on there. It's either going to pop off or it's going to die. Very few pop off. It doesn't have a lot of longevity. So I recommend, and what I've found is that having something that has longevity allows you to do two things. One, the content lasts longer. It becomes what I consider semi-evergreen. The content itself is evergreen. But I have what I call a semi-evergreen business, because I still do live things to get excitement up, to remind people I sell these things, to move people into programs and products and services that I provide at certain times en masse. But I didn't build it where it has to be that all the time. It is semi-evergreen, where this stuff does exist all the time, and there is a way of moving people into it. We've created the content. We have created the funnels off of the content in a very specific and intentional way so that sales happen regularly, right? And then there's a certain way that you structure your offer suite. Not everybody is going to buy an $8,000 program every day. Like, that's probably not going to happen. They're not going to listen to a podcast episode and drop $8,000. I'm not saying it never happens, and I'm sure it happens to lots of people a lot more than it happens to me, but it's not something that happens. Those are not the sales that are going off every single day without something else in between. They're not doing it straight from a podcast episode. Usually there's something else that someone has participated in with me before they take a big leap like that. But the key was really to discovering, how do we create a small step for them to take so they could escalate into something like a higher ticket program? And this semi-evergreen formula is about developing a longer form platform. So rather than having the quick burn, like flash in the pan kind of content, how do we have content that is out there all the time, that people are finding and able to find all the time, that is bingeable. I really love bingeability. I make a lot of money off of bingeability. I build a lot of credibility off of bingeability, and both of those things are essential to your business. There's no greater way of building bingeable authority and building authority in your business than a podcast. Podcasting has changed my life and my business. This show is the engine of my business. Why? Why is it so effective? Because I go deep with people here. And this goes for all of you transformational coaches out there. If you sell something that is transformational or personal, if you are an energy coach, if you are an intuitive guide, if you are a Reiki master, if you are anything where somebody has to kind of confide in you and trust in you, they're probably not going to get that from you where they're like, I'm ready to invest, and certainly invest big with you off of like a 7-second reel. I'm not saying it cannot happen. It's just usually people, there's trust involved and they're trying to figure out, are you my person? That's difficult to do with somebody who just has text on the screen. You don't hear their voice. There's trending audio in the background and, like maybe a well thought out caption. That might get them into a $55 offer with you though. That might work, but they're probably going to want to go deeper. Most people, what we're seeing right now, what's so interesting about right now is people, I have clients a lot of times and people who are, have clarity calls with me and they come to me and they say, well, I have ads running and, so I have this ad and then it runs and, it's the CTA is to book a call with me. Or people will tell me, I go and I teach in groups and I'm like, well, what's your lead magnet? What are you pulling them in with? What's your CTA? And it's like, they're like, oh, well, I give away a call. And I'm like, how does that go? Are they booking the calls? And they're like, no. And I don't know why. And it's almost like I'm not single and I haven't been for a very long time. I'm married. I'm with my husband for 21 years. So this is not my own story, but I did used to do this even back when I was single. But all of my single friends tell me, they're like, they meet for a drink first. They don't go to dinner. And there's texting involved before they go get a drink with somebody. I think it's the same thing with business right now. People want to kind of lurk and listen and have this low touch sort of interaction with you. Speaking in front of a group and then offering a call might be a far leap for them. They might be like, whoa, I'm not ready to do that just yet. Because why? Because people think, much like dating, that if they get on a call with you, you're going to sell something to them. And they might not be ready for that. So they might be thinking that if I meet him for dinner, then he's going to want me to put out. And I don't know if I'm really into that. I don't know if I'm really going to jump into bed with him. And then that's going to be uncomfortable. So I'm just not going to go. Right? That's how people feel. You're inviting them to your room, back to your room when you ask them to get on a call. They don't know you like that yet. They don't like you like that yet. But you know what's interesting? With the Authority Accelerator, I offer people a connection call with me before the masterclass starts. So for the week before, I put out to everybody, hey, if you want to have a 15-minute call with me to just have a quick chat about what you're looking for from the masterclass and for us to meet. I love to meet these people because I really, really do. I love getting a chance to sit down with them and have these chats. And a lot of people sign up. You know why? Because they listen to this show. And a lot of them are very excited to get on that call with me. It's almost jarring to me because they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm sitting here with you. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That feels like a lot. I'm humbled by that and I receive it. And I'm very grateful and flattered. But it's because of this show. It's because they feel like they know me already. So it's not a weird thing for me to ask them to hop on a call. Not everybody takes me up on it, not by a long shot, but a lot of people do. And we have great conversations. And then they come to the masterclass and then they are much more engaged. And I know what they're looking for. And that helps me craft a masterclass that suits the people sitting in the seats. I still teach what I teach. I still have like my formulas are the same. The things that I teach are the same. But the way that I talk about it, that audience might just need something different from me. And I don't know that unless they write me back or book one of those calls. So I get very excited about that. But they come because I have a bridge. Why? Because they binge this show. They didn't listen to 2 episodes. They listened to 20. Some people tell me to be like, I found you on YouTube, or I found you, looking for human design podcasts or whatever they did. And I found it a few weeks ago, and I think I've listened to your show every single day. That's amazing. Do you know how powerful that is? Has anyone ever said, I found your Instagram account and I read all of your posts, or I watched all of your reels? Unless you have some highly entertaining reels, I doubt it. And I doubt that even if they did do that, that they would be looking to purchase something from you after. Because you're probably entertaining them if they're on Instagram. Instagram is not built to hold people's attention for very long. In fact, that's exactly what it's not built for. They want you to keep going, to keep staying on the app, have a short attention span, so you watch something and then you move on to the next thing. And there, you get your dopamine hit. That's what it's built for. Podcasts, YouTube. This is where people go to like sit down or put their earbuds in and kind of take something in and experience it and experience you. They're trying you on. I think you're crazy if you don't give people that opportunity now and you're selling stuff. Not everybody's going to buy from you. Certainly not everybody buys from me, and that's okay. I'm grateful if you listen. But my sales have gone up. People buy from listening to the show. People buy all the time. My Stripe notifications go off and I don't recognize those names and email addresses when it does. Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I look at it, I'm like, oh, hello, thank you. And I say a nice little prayer of gratitude every single time one of them comes in. Yes, thank you, more please to the universe. The key is to have everything tied together. And that's what we're going through in the masterclass. I'm going to show you how to create an ecosystem with your content, how you have a mix of short form and long form content that doesn't take up more of your time because you're repurposing it. Why? Because you create long form content with I don't want to say formula because I don't want it to sound that rigid, but that is both you and your design and all the things that make you magic and your expertise, but also done so in a way where it ties to your offers and ties to everything. So every single bit of content, every time you open your mouth and you put something together and you put it out in the world, it's making somebody think, is she the one I want to work with? Do I want to work with them? I think I might. I don't know. Let me listen to another one. And they're making their decision. That's the beauty of it. Perfectly aligned offers, a strategic message built to sell, a platform where they can binge to their heart's content, and then a combination of some live stuff to get the juices flowing when they're really needing a push over the fence to make a decision. That's what we're talking about with Semi-Evergreen. That is the sales everyday formula. If you want more of this, I highly recommend coming to the Authority Accelerator Masterclass. It is a chef's kiss masterpiece. It is all of this. I will walk you through the entire formula, everything from the energy of building a multi-6-figure business. Like, what energy do we need to be in? That contagious energy that fuels you, that gives you momentum, that keeps you from taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Energy is what keeps propelling you forward and keeps you progressing. We're going to go through that. We're going to go through all the human design stuff. We're going to show you how to brand according to your human design, how to activate your gifts, how to own your gifts, and how to really use them to elevate your brand and step into your sovereign CEO state. Okay? Get you out of that scattered energy and into sovereign. And then we're going to take you through all the strategy, the strategic message, and everything I just told you about building an ecosystem that serves so that you can be making sales every single day. Okay. All you have to do to register is go to NicoleLano.com/masterclass and register there, or DM me the word masterclass on Instagram. I am at Nicole Lano Official, and we will register you right there in the DMs. Super, super simple. And if none of that appeals to you, then please just go down to the show notes and click the little link. We'll magically transport you over there and take care of you over there. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. As always, I'm so grateful to you for listening to the show and making it all the way to the end of this episode with me. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us help you become unshakable with human design. We'll see you next time.